Welcome to Love Capsule, the confessions you don't admit anywhere else.
Today we're doing the capsule with a guest Lussea, whom we got to know in Love is Blind Trans.
We shared a totally crazy experience together, and today, UCA, you'll be able to tell us what you took away from it.
We're going to talk about a topic that stings, the little red flags we always ignore at the beginning.
Where from? But first, my dear UCA, could you remind us a little bit about how you experienced it? Because it's true that we weren't on TV, so we saw one of my hairs blowing in the wind again. Incredible, but so, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, yeah, of course, at the beginning, it's a bit frustrating because we all went through the same adventure. I saw my match, as you know, with Maddie, and I had my reveal too. So I experienced the whole intense thing just like you did, right up to the end. Especially when it comes to the reveals, your heart is pounding. So yeah, it was 2 crazy weeks of adventure. I had you. No one has ever felt things like that in their life before. And so, yeah, obviously a bit frustrated when it aired, but I don't even remember what I wanted to say.
How did you experience it?
How did I really experience it? It was hard for me to adapt at first, I have to admit. I'm not someone who naturally opens up about their emotions. I'm not someone who cries in front of people. It's true that it's a bit hard for me to reveal all these. The sentimental stuff is just not my thing. So it was a real challenge for me. Especially knowing that there are people watching you, that you have to talk about what you're feeling, what you think about him. It's true, but I did it. You have to play along. It's part of the game. And I have a bit of trouble letting go, let's say.
And do you think you were falling in love before seeing Madine?
I think that's, we're conditioned. For 2 weeks, you're really, we're cut off from the world. We're really immersed in our thing. And so I don't truly think it's really love, as we commonly call it. I think you genuinely develop deep feelings. You gradually develop a strong bond and a profound connection with that special person. I think that, well, I'm speaking for myself, at least for me, I would need more time to fall in love with someone when you're talking behind a wall. So I think it's more a matter of affinity, affection, and mental connection than of love. It's too soon to talk about that.
I completely agree with you. What was it in the capsules that attracted you the most? Like the words, the energy, the voice?
Yeah, for me, I think it's more a matter of I'm very much without. Besides, that's all we have because of the wall. We're much more receptive to energies. So yeah, it's more about the energy. And the voice, that's very important, especially in a man. You see, I see. When it's a certain type of man you like, the voice matters a lot. Is he calm? Does he have a voice that's reassuring, that soothes? And with Mady, that went really well on that front. It's really smart to know that,
That's true. I have to admit, I didn't have the pleasure of talking to him for very long, so I don't know.
All right, who were you with at the beginning? You were with Stan and who else?
Oh, with the company too. It's
Quite a while, but who was it? Stan and someone else?
And there was Ben for a long time. There was John for a long time. It's
Nice try, changing to the end.
wait too, right up to the end. Me too, I waited right up to the end as well. Oh my god. We had anticipated what you
See here, right now. That is, we spent hours making up fake friends so that we wouldn't have to deal with the ones we had.
Oh my god.
Honestly, we really clicked and built a beautiful friendship. We played it well. We played it well. We just laughed the whole time, and those were really great moments. So thank you for keeping me busy during my days.
I went down the slope. I heard that.
I'm still you.
Oh, well, no. But your wife, it's fine. It's thick. What else are they throwing into the mix for me?
Well, yes, I know. But they got the definites. The definites. They're for the same word, etc.
It is.
Clear. It's clear. It's clear. So, to get back to your very important meeting with Mady, I am curious, were you actually truly scared when you met her? Perhaps feeling a little bit intimidated by the situation?
Well, I have a fun fact,
We want to hear it.
because Sarah and Kim can confirm it. Listen, you can see it yourself. So, Mady, at one point we give each other gifts among friends. I know what you're going to say. Oh my god.
Wait, I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, yeah, because I didn't show it. Mady tells me, look, there's a bit of the gift next to you, on your left, when you don't have one. I mean, I see a piece of fabric. I pick it up and I go out. It was a tank top, a white tank top. I think the size was for a 12-year-old child. And I look at it, I got really scared. And I'm like, wait, what is this? He has a son. They tell me he has a son like that. He tells me without the... So I smell it. He says, that's my perfume and it's mine. It's yours. Small problem with the proportions here, right?
I put one leg in it. That's all.
I tried the thing on in the evening at the hotel. First, Kim and Sarah. I was breaking it. So I say, how is this possible?
Also,
He tells me he used to be a runner. You know, runners, they're slim. Because when you run, obviously you can't be thick, you know. I split them. Oh my God, I ended up with a chip. I close at 80 kilos on the squat machine. Well, not anymore. I've lost some weight. I'm 70 now. But still, I'm a fighter. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, for a year. I was like this. At the river, I was like this. So I didn't wear heels. Nothing. He's going to come up to here on me. That's the fun fact. It's Maddie's Marseille style, which actually suits her really, really well. He looks great. But I had a really big one. And when I told him that, he said to me, oh, damn, that's true. I didn't think of that. I told him, you have to, you don't freak out though, because you're going to blow your thing up, even though I don't have that information. It's
Very
funny.
She's a real widow.
Yes. She's a real widow. Very beautiful. It went really well. We were both stressed out, but yes. So I was, of course, pleasantly down to earth.
That's good. You see, I made him believe that I liked a wooden leg and all that. It's the same thing. That way, at least he was just happy. I told him it's a shame there are only bombshells, but you didn't choose to have one.
There are only bombshells. Well, I'm not one of them. All right, but luckily you're a treat.
But
You see, it's the same thing. You relive it, you're happy.
yes, no, but I was reassured, my God.
And tell me, looking back now, do you truly think your feelings were significantly heightened by the entire experience, or were they completely and genuinely real?
Completely, I think that on top of that, humans are kind of natural followers. So when you see everyone around you, especially since you and Kim were both sure about your choices by day 2, you're in this kind of bubble atmosphere. So of course you think, damn, I want that too. And when you say you want what they have too, of course you're going to push things a bit. So it's in that sense that inevitably you end up really caught up in it all. Yeah, you're conditioned. And on top of that, in real life, you have your whole circle, your friends, you know, whether they're going to support you or not, to tell you they have the perspective on things that you don't have when you're right in the thick of it. There, you're in the adventure. It's just you and yourself. So there's no one to tell you, wait, you're going a bit fast, or wait, you missed that. You see, it's really just you and that. So yes, you're conditioned.
Okay. Did the experience change your view on relationships?
Yes. In one way, it has changed in the sense that now what I don't want, what I think I don't want to see, and what I don't want, I have to stick to that. You know, sometimes we want so badly to be in love. We want so much to be with someone. When you meet someone who isn't, there's something that doesn't feel right, or you tell yourself it's not for you, but then you think, oh yes, but maybe it could change. What does that change? No, it doesn't change what you want, what you don't want. Even if you like the person, when I say you appreciate them or overall things are good or whatever, but there are things, you know, in the past were deal breakers, and every time you want to overlook them to try for an adventure. But no, actually, you shouldn't force things. If you know that something is a deal breaker for you, it needs to stay that way. Okay. And I think friends have shown me that, at least in my case. Every time I had a doubt, actually, I have a friend whose father always said, when there's doubt, there's no doubt. And honestly, that's a real mantra for me. When there's doubt, there's no doubt. If there's doubt, it's not for you.
I follow same rule as you.
You see? Yes, but we women, we tend to ignore our doubts because we believe we live on love. You know what I mean? We move on quickly, we brush things aside quickly.
That's true.
We can't just brush it aside. The dirt is still there, look at it. It's not going to go away. Even if you loved it, in the end, you're not going to have it anymore.
I agree.
You see?
Thank you for your honesty, Lucia. Now, let's move on to today's topic.
Those famous little red flags that we sometimes ignore, like you just said, we tend to brush them aside.
She pays for it.
And do you ever, just think, no, it's fine, it'll pass, no big deal?
Yeah, so for me, humor is important. And not in the sense that I want my guy to be a comedian or anything, but that we have the same sense of humor, that he gets my jokes and I get his. And if you see on the first dates that the guy doesn't have the same sense of humor, sometimes you might try to overlook it, telling yourself, but he's a good guy. But for me, I stop right there too. If I see that we're not on the same, yeah, that's it, on the same wavelength when it comes to humor, or then you have even bigger red flags. The whole thing with narcissistic perverts, the ones who Those who talk too much about their exes, that really annoys me, right? Like my nerves on a first date, like my ex this, my ex that, and still with her.
Yeah, awful. Let's switch topics.
I'm going to the next table. That's the most awkward one.
So, to go back to it, what's a red flag, or is there one you often manage to overlook?
The most obvious red flag that I chose to ignore, well, I think that in 2025, we're all on our phones 24/7. If I get a reply to my message 15,000 years later, it's because I was busy. Even Macron replies to messages, I think, to his wife too. There's nothing more. I mean, even if you're the president, we're all on our phones. So the excuse of I was busy or whatever, for me, that's it. I just stop replying after that. It's next.
All right. We brush it off saying it'll pass. But actually, wait, why do we always tend to say, no, it's not that serious, it'll pass?
Well, I think it's because women, we want love. We want a story more than men do. Men are maybe by nature more straightforward, and women, we're more in the mindset of, especially at our age, we're looking for serious relationships. So you tell yourself you also have to know that nobody's perfect. Careful, I'm not saying the perfect man is going to show up. He doesn't exist. But we tend to brush things aside a bit because we know that at some point we have to make compromises. But I think we're not clear-sighted enough, if that's the right word. We think it's a way. It's good. So it's a way. We are not entirely clear-sighted enough about the implications about which red flag might be okay and which one can't be. I don't know if that's clear or not. No, that's absolutely right. Okay.
Have you ever had a clear warning sign on a first date, but you completely ignored it?
Surely, but I try to think about that kind of thing because I'm single today. Clearly, I swept a lot of things under the rug at the beginning that I shouldn't have. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Often, especially in the United States, but when an American speaks French, it can be deceiving. But I heard Kim, who was saying earlier as well, about a man who looks at other women too much when you're with him. I find that disrespectful because there are good-looking guys walking by too, but I don't stare at them. I have eyes like everyone else, but you don't do it because when you choose to spend time with someone, you respect them and give your energy to that person. So when you're at a restaurant and you see a girl walk by behind you and the guy twists his neck like he's dying just to look at her and waves, no.
So if that kind of red flag had already happened to you, did you know when you accepted how the relationship was going to end anyway?
You
already knew and you still went for it?
Well, yeah.
Me too, I'm stubborn.
It's true, there are some things you just shouldn't do.
What small, seemingly insignificant detail appeared at first, but then became incredibly huge later on in the story?
The relationship with the in-laws, especially with your mothers, can be quite complex and often challenging to navigate. The relationship with the mother is crucial. What you see is what you'll get, and if you have mothers who are too... I have to admit, mothers never like me. Fathers adore me, brothers and sisters adore me, but mothers never like me.
In your opinion, why is that? Is it that a sense of competition develops? Is it because you have, let's say, a sparkling but also rather strong personality? Do these mothers feel overshadowed by that? What's your take on it?
I think that for a mother, especially when it's her son, her baby, I think they're afraid. A mother always has an idea of the kind of woman she wants for her son, the image of the perfect woman. Again, I'm not saying all mothers, but often the ones who are like that, who are a bit problematic, are mothers who have this perfect image of the girl they want for their son, a girl who doesn't exist because, once again, nobody is perfect. And so obviously I show up and I don't exactly keep my tongue in my pocket, as they say, so she's afraid that I'm going to be problematic, that I'm going to be a pain, and above all, that I won't be easily manipulated. And I think that mothers, when they're like mother hens with their sons, they like to have control over their sons. So they also want to have control over the girlfriend, because now that the son has a girlfriend, he's going to listen to her too, not just his mom. So I think that's part of what scares them, thinking, oh, damn, she's going to annoy me.
Even a little bit more.
Because of that. And that happened in my previous relationship with my ex. The first time I met his mother, it went really badly. Not because of me, obviously, I'm quite polite. I even brought gifts. I was all happy to show myself to the family. And we stayed together for 4 years, and during those 4 years, it was never good, it was a problem.
That's really interesting what you're saying, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of our listeners.
Yes, when people say when you marry someone, you also marry their family, it's true. And then you think, this person, I want to have children, which means sometimes you have to leave your kids with the grandparents, but for me, There's no way my children are going to the grandparents' house alone. You see, so it's a problem from the start. You're entering a life that's complicated from the beginning, and that's important.
And are you okay? You don't look well. Ah,
You guys have already met. He
met them.
That's exactly it. That's what it is.
Yes.
Very well.
It's mostly you with his mom.
I don't know when we met his mom.
Do you think it's the fear of being alone that makes us tolerate certain obvious things?
For most people, I would say yes, definitely. As for me, I can only speak for myself. I'm not afraid of being alone. I've been on my own since I left my family. I was 16. I lived in London. I've been in New York for 10 years. I did everything all by myself. I took my 2 suitcases and I left. I'm not afraid of being alone. I'm used to being alone. Now, I've been single for 3 years and it's fine. I'm not about to. On the contrary, I especially don't want to end up with the wrong person. I'd much rather be alone, hang out with my girlfriends, live my life, and not have to answer to anyone. There's nothing worse than being with a guy. You're with him because you're afraid of being alone, but you're not really into it, and so it gets on your nerves. What do? That's enough, you see? So being alone, I'm fine with it, but I think I could make the wrong choice. Like I swept things under the rug too quickly because of societal pressure, more than actually being bothered by being alone myself. It doesn't bother me.
Okay. But to...
Say that at 35 you're single, something must be wrong with you.
Okay.
It's more in that sense.
Does the biological clock really matter to you personally?
So, importance, I wouldn't say it's important in the sense that if I have a child, great. If I don't, it's not a big deal. It's not the end goal. I'm not being contradictory because, I mean, as humans, we were born to reproduce, that's the animal side of things. But for me, it's not the ultimate goal. It's an experience I'd like to have, but if I don't, it's not a problem. But still, it's there, the clock is there, it's a fact for women. After 40, you can't anymore, so that's just a fact. But importance? No, it's just a limit for me, that's all. It's there, it happens, or it doesn't, it's like that.
As they say.
Yeah.
No, it's not good. It's not the right time to have one, but it's not an end in itself.
But it's true, we're much more limited than men.
But it's true that when you're at that point, there comes a time when, after having certain experiences and seeing your age, you think, well, if I'm going to experience it, it's now, that's it.
It's a fact, men don't have that.
In your opinion, what are the 3 most universal red flags that we all tend to overlook?
The
biggest
red flags that we tend to trivialize or perhaps even completely overlook. I would genuinely say we tend to quickly and often dismissively overlook the true and significant amount of precious time someone actually dedicates and gives to us. When a man truly gives us his valuable time, we often immediately say, oh, but he's incredibly busy. Oh, but he works an extraordinary amount. Oh, but he does so very much. Oh, but he has so many other commitments and responsibilities. Oh, but he tired. He must have fallen asleep. He didn't text me. We tend to make a lot of excuses for them, to give them a lot of leeway, when in reality they are just who they are. What you get is simply what it is, really. We need to stop making excuses for them because they themselves don't do it, you see. It's like you're working for him. So I genuinely think that a significant number of women often engage in this behavior, primarily because we deeply desire to believe in the concept and the inherent goodness it represents. Therefore, yes, that is precisely what it is, the timeless and often romanticized notion of chivalry.
I know that some people aren't
Brought up that way. It's not innate, but at least make an effort.
I haven't actually opened a door myself ever since I left experts.
And I think, well, I'm not saying I want the princess treatment 24/7, but at least a minimum. And I think that a guy who doesn't have that naturally, for me, that's a red flag. Someone who at least pull out chairs for you, someone who doesn't eat before you have your plate, silly things like that, like opening a door. I still like it when the man is there they want to protect you too and take care of you.
I think the role of the mother for young boys is crucial in that regard. That is to say, well, in my personal case, it was this upbringing that made my mother support me in understanding how to deal with a woman. But mothers and sometimes fathers, though they're a bit less sensitive to these kinds of things.
It's more the father who should be teaching.
Well, listen, that's an opinion that could also be completely valid.
But
a woman's sensitivity can actually convey messages to her son. Explain why we feel this way, how to do it, why to do it as well. Like, what did you do to your sweetheart? Well, to feel when you...
It costs nothing and you gain so many points and it costs nothing.
It felt strange to me the first few days when we saw each other again after the experience. It took up a part of my life, like I arrive at the restaurant, they pull out the chair at every door. And that
makes you feel special even though it's nothing. It takes 2 seconds, it costs nothing, and you gain everything in
fact you
see. And that guys have a hard time understanding. I don't know why.
Okay, let's move on to the next part. Let's move on to the part about relationships. I'm going to ask you a question, but I'll answer it too. For you, what's worse? Someone who ghosts you right from the start, or someone who always replies, stays close, or rather...
For me, someone who ghosts me right from the start. That's something I just can't stand, ghosting people. It's happened to me way too many times. I think it's the ultimate form of disrespect. Just send a text saying, listen, it's not going to work. Yeah, exactly. Like after a date, you meet a guy, and then after the date, there's no follow-up. It doesn't work out. Instead of telling you, the guy just disappears. That's something that really gets to me. Even more so than if it takes him 3 days to reply. At least then I can see he's not interested, but there's still some respect. Oh yeah.
I agree with you. Ghosting is worse. If someone always takes 3 hours to reply, at least it's consistent. That's just how they are. There's no pretense, no hidden reason.
On that point, I agree with you, ladies. I still think it's annoying, though. Someone who replies 3 days later. It gives a...
Why can't you have a conversation?
So it gives the impression that the guy doesn't care, or the girl doesn't care, she's not interested, especially if she only replies with yes or no and doesn't follow up. That's rough. But hey, at least it's better if she replies at all. There's some respect and you can wrap things up. A girl who ghosts, that's something else. It's just because we're human. It's all in the mind.
You get a bit of that human touch. You talk about some stuff, but then he replies 3 days later. I'm like, babe, I'm already out of that world. It's over. It's done.
You get that surface level message when the 3 days are up, like, what the hell is he doing? I'm in a meeting right now and you're asking me, what's your dream? It's kind of...
It just drags on. It becomes a general thing, not just 3 days, sometimes even 2. Oh my god. So, in your opinion, is a guy or a girl who's too jealous, is that a red flag? Or is it proof that he or she really cares about you?
Answer me.
Thank you very much for...
For me, jealousy is something terrible, especially right from the start. I mean, it depends. If the guy behaves perfectly, there doesn't seem to be any jealousy here. If the guy sets boundaries and says, okay, look, I'm pretty good looking, I'm nice, I'm quite sociable, but my behavior is exemplary and you'll see there's no problem. We can do regular check-ins to reassure you, because I need to understand your fears, your worries, what happened before, your traumas and all that. But if a girl, despite all that, despite exemplary behavior... By the way, let me just say, you're fantastic, thank you. I made a good choice for these episodes. But where it bothers me is that I'm not pretending. I'm showing you that I'm genuine, I'm very chill. And even with all that, if she's still overwhelmingly jealous, for me, that's an immediate red flag. Even if she's fantastic, gorgeous, checks all the boxes, even if things are amazing in bed, it's still a red flag.
But you know what's crazy? I was talking to Sarah about it this morning, how I was criticized for not being jealous enough just recently.
Well, there are some people like that. It happens, but
I can understand because I'm the opposite of you.
in
In the sense that if my boyfriend isn't jealous at all, I'm like, do you even like me or not? Why are you even here? I mean, okay, so you don't care. To me, if you're not at least a little bit jealous, it means you just don't care. I'm not saying like, pay attention, but it's nice, you know? I don't have any crazy stuff going on, but a little bit of jealousy, like some sweet words, you know? It shows you like, me, that's what I mean. That's what I like. That's what it is.
Yeah, but that's cute jealousy. That's not the same as real jealousy. Yeah, but I like guys.
Who are possessive, more than jealous. I like possessiveness, yeah.
I like...
That. Yeah, but you know, I think everyone has their own thing, you see, I love it.
But then, you see, and I told him to, wait, my capsules, I told him actually, if you don't give me a reason to be, I will never be. But if at some point there's any doubt, get ready to live. Age.
In hell.
honestly, communication is key.
Yeah, I think you can, you know, a red flag is only a red flag if you talk about it and the guy just doesn't get it and sticks to his ways and acts like you're crazy. But if you talk to him about it and he says, oh, okay, I hadn't seen it from your point of view, I get it, sure, everything can be changed. It's all about attitude and what you're willing to change. A relationship is about compromise. I'm sure I have plenty of red flags myself. Again, nobody's perfect. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. But if we don't talk about it, obviously we can't change. There are things I do that I think my future husband won't like if you're watching me. And if we talk about it and I can understand and it's a compromise I'm willing to make, I'll do it, you know, and vice versa. If there's something about my boyfriend that I don't really like, but I'd like to get past it so we can move forward, and I talk to him about it and he changes, of course I'll accept that.
But I pretty much agree that if by communicating the person changes their behavior about something that bothers you, well, yes, it becomes a green flag because you're like,
But it's even more of a green flag, meaning you took what I told you, you understood it, you put yourself in my shoes and realized how serious it was for me, and you changed it for me. So, you see?
I'm following you. I have nothing to add. Your explanation is clear and straightforward. It's great.
What do you mean?
Totally. 100%.
no, but at the same time, that's really how you are. Whenever there's something that hurts me and he doesn't understand because he wouldn't have reacted that way. Yeah, but if you explain it, that
If he understands it, he'll change it.
the beautiful world.
Absolutely right.
In your honest opinion, who tends to ignore significant red flags more often, men or women, in relationships?
It's
The very
women. Men, when it comes to that, we should learn from them. They're much more uncompromising because they're not, they're not at all. If something's wrong, you see, you guys are really uncompromising, I think.
I don't agree 1,000% because, well, I think it's a matter of timing. I think that at the very beginning, when we meet a woman, some men do, in fact.
Just ignore it and all. It's really not a problem.
But after a significant year, 2 full years, 3 consecutive years, and so on, well, that's precisely when circumstances truly change. And I genuinely think that's when we men are more inclined to be like that.
Yeah, that you let more things slide than we do in the long run. I totally agree.
When you're settled down, you have a wife, a woman, kids. I think some guys have even given up.
That's too...
I would like to say that I completely and wholeheartedly agree with that statement. But then, is it, well, really, truly,
Happy wife, happy life.
there you go, but you see, maybe that's it, it's something else, but you see, if you ignore everything and you just don't care anymore, at some point, your wife might start thinking she could have something better elsewhere, maybe even better than you. So actually, I think you really have to try to play along. But anyway, being in a relationship is a constant process of questioning yourself. But I think we operate on a timeline, or yeah, well, I say that, but women could say the same thing. She's only been with her husband for 5 years. She could say, he never puts his laundry in the basket. It's annoying.
Yes, but there are indeed studies and compelling statistics. Women, in fact, leave relationships much more frequently than men do. Divorces are often initiated by women.
I think there's an overflow. And at the same time,
But I think, like you said, what you said is interesting. It's completely true. Women, so thirsty for love that sweep everything aside. Right at the start, we ignore the red flags, whereas you guys, you know exactly what kind of woman you want, and if it doesn't work, you just move on immediately. In the long run, you guys need more stability than we do, when it comes to relationships over time, I think. So as time goes on, you mellow out, you're with your wife, you're happy, and you can't really go back to the whole hunting game. Whereas women, I think we're more in tune with what we feel. We're more emotional, so we tend to listen to our emotions more.
we try for a long time before leaving.
We try to. But when you leave, it's because you've tried, and once we see it's not working, we leave. Whereas men, they can stay a long time without that.
And so you're,
Darling,
I totally agree with you, and even more so with you as well then. We
kind of met in the middle. We met in the middle. What's the common thread of the...
Switzerland for me when we met in the middle.
That's clear. What a red flag. What a red flag. You would never tolerate that again.
finances.
Ah, okay.
I know it's a taboo subject, especially in France, but we're going to talk about it. Why, by the way? Why? Because once again, I'm talking about myself, not trying to be clever or anything. Everyone does as they wish. But for me, it's important that I have admiration for my man. And that also includes his ability to take care of a family. Because if I'm pregnant, I don't want to work even if I could. There are plenty of women who do it. I didn't want to work when I'm like a whale, when even just peeing is a challenge. I don't want to go and bust my ass at the OTAF. I want to take care of if I have a child one day, I want to take care of my child, at least at the beginning, in those first days when they're just a baby. I don't want to have them raised by someone I don't know just because I have to go to work, because otherwise we can't eat. So it's important for me to have a man where I know I can take my time off to take care of my family, if we have one someday. And if I see that you're not financially stable, careful. I'm not saying I want a billionaire, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. Someone who knows how to take care of his family. That's very important to me.
And for you, how do you tell the difference between a flaw that might be normal and a real warning sign? Careful, there's really something that makes a difference.
What we were talking about earlier, for me, is the ability to understand and change if I communicate it to you. If you say to me, oh, but you're completely crazy, that's a flaw. What that means is it's who you are, and you don't even want to be aware of it. That's a flaw.
But you're,
That's absolutely crazy. At some point in time, it's just unbelievable.
in a broader sense.
When he says to you, oh my gosh, she was crazy, you're out. Because every time we think, oh yeah, no, but you're right, he's explaining it to you. But of course, he's going to explain it to you in terms of women. Obviously, there are crazy women, as they say, but there's always a bit of truth in it.
You see, I've always said that with the story we had, unfortunately, with Kim and Thomas, what I was saying is that in all your crazy actions, often it's because you're the epicenter of the problem. All around. We're all crazy. You see what I mean? And
That, for me, is really the most, I think for me, that's the most compared to the rest. Like I said, my exes, that's her specialty. You drive them crazy. That's it, they're gone. What
Is this the clear and truly unmistakable sign that a relationship is definitely going to go bad?
clear and unmistakable. Ah, already. If you split the bill with me on the first date, do a 50-50, there won't be a second one. That's a hassle. Yeah, it's important. The codes, I think there are still some codes you have to respect. And again, if there are girls who are fine with that, that's great. I'm just talking about myself. I don't want to end up splitting the bill with a guy. Again, I want a guy who gets it, who knows how to be chivalrous. I'm not saying I never pay for dinner, but at the beginning, it matters.
A story just came to mind that I hadn't planned to tell. I picture you in a situation, you meet a guy, things are going well from the first message, etc. Would you find it cool,
Or
bold if the guy ordered for you what you're going to eat?
that wouldn't bother me at all. My ex used to do that a lot. We'd sit down and I wouldn't even get the menu, he'd order for the whole table. I actually really like that. I know it's a taboo subject. I have lots of girlfriends who freak out about it. They hate it. Like, how can you tell me what I want to eat? But I like it. It shows that you take charge. I know that's just how I am. I know it's taboo, and I totally get that a lot of women don't like it.
first date in Sweden, it's just two guys with Big Macs.
How embarrassing everyone could see us, the guy at McDonald's. Let me give some context because right now people are probably thinking, what's up with this loser?
Why not? They're making a big deal, and he paid for McDonald's.
Plus, I even paid for a McFlurry, so that's something.
The
Completely and utterly full.
ride,
So, for context, obviously, we were just coming out of that famous experience. We meet, and the next day we go to eat the first covered thing next to the hotel. Where were we? McDonald's. We're going to eat McDonald's for my dates.
Why not? What truly valuable and practical advice would you offer to someone who finds themselves constantly grappling with the fear of paying too much attention to every single potential red flag, perhaps to the point where it causes undue anxiety or prevents them from moving forward?
continue? No, but after that, you mustn't be stubborn. But actually, the advice I give myself and that I want to follow from now on is to always listen to yourself. Your body knows before your mind does. You always have to listen to yourself. Energy doesn't lie. Intuition doesn't lie, especially for women. We have a lot of intuition, and what you feel, even if you can't express it or explain it, you feel it for a reason. Listen to it? Really.
Speaking of intuition, for you, is it really the best weapon when you're there?
Yeah, there's nothing better. Energies don't lie. There are things like that. Again, have you ever met someone and thought, damn, there's something about them that bothers me? I don't know what it is, but I don't like this person. I don't hate them. I don't have any animosity toward this person. But energetically, there's something that bothers me. You have to listen to that. Always. Always, always, always.
You get chills, And no, if you look at the summary, actually, a punchline for Instagram, a little red flag at the start, it's
A little red flag at the beginning. It's a crimson river flowing right there. It could be odor.
It could be shown. Yes, I'm clear. Thank you so much for this moment. And you, what would be the red flag you'd choose to ignore? Let us know in the comments. See you soon for once. See you soon.